Let's now speak to Jonathan Fowler, who's a spokesperson for the UN's Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA. Jonathan is joining us from Amman. Jonathan, as you heard there, 2 children now dying of exposure because of the flooding and the storm in Gaza. How common are these cases now becoming, and what are your teams on the ground telling you about the impact of the storm?
I mean, we're seeing that this is basically layers upon layers of misery. I mean, people who have nothing need everything and are suddenly being confronted by this absolutely disastrous storm. That the weather conditions are horrific. I mean, the cold, the water, the rainwater, the floods, all of these things. I mean, our colleagues are relaying the fact that, displaced population, people who've been displaced multiple times, over and over, people have had to, been forced to move from one flimsy shelter to the next. And now this is coming in and this is compounding it. And just not enough supplies are being allowed in to alleviate this. And this is a huge problem.
I was going to ask you about that, how you're responding and what is the gap between what UNRWA needs and what it currently has to respond effectively.
I mean, this is an extremely important issue because we remain banned by the Israeli authorities from bringing anything into the Gaza Strip, as UNRWA specifically, singled out, not allowed to bring anything in. And yet we have shelter supplies for more than 1 million people sitting outside the Gaza Strip that we could bring in immediately if we were allowed to. So there's a political choice to deny us the possibility of bringing that aid in. That said, our colleagues on the ground are able to distribute winter clothing, blankets, tarpaulins, the things that we still have and that we're able to work with partners to do. So colleagues are doing that. Pumping away sewage, because of course, the sewage system has collapsed. So the rainwater is bringing sewage back up. Lakes of sort of untreated sewage water all over the place. But our colleagues are working to the degree that they can to try to alleviate the impact of this storm.
Yeah, and so how are your colleagues prioritizing which families receive the limited supplies the limited winter materials available right now? And are there contingency plans in place right now for further storms, given that this winter is expected to be very severe?
Yes, this is an important point. I mean, prioritization in a situation where everybody needs something is always going to be difficult. But we're certainly working to try to reduce the impact of the storm on the most vulnerable people. So, persons with disabilities, unaccompanied children, families where people are wounded, these kind of things. So, I mean, there is that element of prioritization, but really the important thing is to be able to get something to everybody. Contingency plans, yes. I mean, we're continuing to ramp up what we're able to do on the ground. Despite the constraints, the limitations, we're increasing our work. And I mean, the key thing is that aid has to be allowed in at scale. I mean, it's not complicated. This is not happening, and this is a choice. I mean, this is a choice to not allow enough aid in to alleviate the impact already of what was happening, and on top of this, the storm. I mean, this is a wake-up call.
Jonathan, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us about the situation in Gaza. Jonathan Fowler, spokesperson for the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees in Amman there. Thank you.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.